Welcome, fellow bookworms, to Tibra's Den. My name is Whitney, and it is time for my favorite video of the month, and that is Once Upon a TBR Hunny Jar, which is my TBR game. We are on round 27, and we are picking for my June TBR. I have a whole stack of books that I'm hoping will fit into my game. There's a vlog I want to do towards the end of the month. I have my Adventures in Alia book, my Genre-a-thon books, but we will talk about those books if for some reason I don't get them into the game at the end of the video. I do not have any Hunny Jar prompts to put back in. Of course, we're not putting back in bookworms for the time being, so I want to make sure I get through all the Hunny Jar prompts at least once before I start adding the old prompts back in. And so in order to make sure that happens, I'm keeping the bookworms out as well. However, for my series poll, I actually have 3 that need to come out. So I did complete the Gold Seer trilogy by Ray Carson. So this one, I finished the books. They are done. So this series is done. Then we also, these 2 I haven't read yet because, as always, if you're new here, I do film my TBR videos about a month in advance. So it's the beginning of May. So I haven't read books for May yet. But I will be finishing up the Scholomance trilogy by Naomi Novik this month. And then we also should finish up Life of a Cactus duology by Dusty Bowling this month. So if for some reason something happens and I don't get to those, I will put those back in. However, I did add or create a list of 10 other series that, as I finished my priority series, I wanted to add into the jar. I think I'm going to pull first and then add in. And I also debated, I thought about doing like randomizing those, but there's some series that I've already started that I want to put in the priority owl first. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and pull so we get more of my original priority pulls, series pulled, and then I'm going to add in 3 more. So let's go ahead. I normally pick 2, so let's shuffle them around, and then we'll go for this one. Let's see what this one is. Like I said, there are some series I want to continue, so we'll see if we get them. Okay. Oh my goodness. So this one I'm actually going to binge read the series. So that is the Elixir trilogy by Hilary Duff. I'm planning on binge reading. I want to just read the whole series. So I'm going to probably keep that out. So I'll add a 4th one in there because I knew that series was one I just wanted to binge read whenever it came up. So there's that one. I'm excited about that. Hilary Duff is the actress Hilary Duff. She wrote when she was a teen. She wrote a trilogy. So I'm excited about that. And then let's go for this one, I guess. So let's see. So hopefully I can get those books on. And then this one is... This one I'm reading anyway. I've been reading. So we have the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. I'm supposed to read The Queen of Shadows in May. I have The Empire of Storms on the way. So that will be my pick for June for this series because that's the number I'm up to. And I think, let's see here, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think Empire of Storms is number 5. And then so I'll still have 2 more, so this will go back in. But go ahead and throw that back in. Like I said, I've been reading them anyway. Because I am obsessed with that series, so just kind of mix that up. So we're gonna add in 4, because like I said, I want to binge read these, and I should finish up these 2, and I did complete the Gold Seer trilogy. So the first one I'm gonna be adding in is the Knock 'Em Out series by Lucy Score. I have read the first one, so I have the other 2 still to go. So this one's gonna be added in there. Then this one I have not started, but I really do want to read this year because I found the first one at a thrift store and then I went ahead and got the other 2 used. And that is the Dreamland Billionaire trilogy by Lauren Asher. So I want to start that this year. So even though it's not one I've already started, I do want to prioritize it over some of the others that will go in there. And then we have the Pinch of Magic series by Michelle Harrison. This is a 4-book series. I've read the first 2. It is a middle grade series, but I would like to read the next 2, and I just haven't been prioritizing them, so those would be good to have them in here. And then the next one, the last one that I'm going to put in, I've only read the first one, and that's the Neapolitan series by Elena Ferrante. This is a translated work from Italian. Like I said, I read the first one, My Brilliant Friend, I think that one's called, and I did really enjoy it, but it is a little bit denser, and they are a little bit more intimidating for whatever reason. So putting it in the jar to potentially be pulled is a good way to make sure I make progress on that series. So they're in there. Let me kind of mix them around so it's ready to go next time. They're not sitting right on top. But yeah, there we go. So the owl is now updated, and like I said, if for some reason something happens, these will go back in, but I don't foresee that being a problem. So we have our picks. I'm really happy we got Throne of Glass, and I'm really happy that we got the Elixir trilogy. I'm looking forward to binge reading that. So let me go ahead. I think that's everything as far as housekeeping. Let me get the game board set up, get you guys turned around, and we'll get into gameplay. Okay, so I forgot to mention I did complete my April TBR, so we did earn another reward token. So I now have 3 of those. So this allows me to forego a Hunny Jar prompt if I choose, or to use them in any manner that I decide. And then colors don't necessarily matter this year. The most important thing to fulfill is the Hunny Jar prompt, but if we land on blue, I do try to use a sci-fi. Yellow is historical, green is fantasy, red is romance, orange is mystery, thriller, horror, purple is actually any genre, and then it's a completely free pick. I do not have to pull a Hunny Jar prompt. And then black, I move forward 3 spaces, use that genre color, and then I pull 2 of the Hunny Jar prompts. As far as characters go, we did get Pooh last time, so if we roll him again, we have the option to re-roll if we so choose. Otherwise, 1 is Christopher Robin, and it's a coming of age or middle grade. 2 is Pooh Bear, and it's a classic or comfort read. 3 is Piglet, that's an auto by author or a reread. 4 is Rabbit, which is a free choice. 5 is Owl, which is a memoir, biography, or any type of nonfiction. 6 is Tigger, which is lighthearted or fast-paced. 7 is Eeyore, which is a literary or dystopian. And 8 is Kanga and Roo, which is a manga, graphic novel, or any children's book. So, let's go ahead and see which character we're getting. Sorry, Al. There we go. So, shake that up. And then... Okay, so we got a 5 there. And so a 5 is Owl. So a memoir, biography, or any type of nonfiction. Let me get them all set up and we'll get going. Okay. Let's see. And as a reminder, I moved 2 squares for each color other than purple or black. So let's go ahead and see what our first move is going to be. Let's do this one. All right, we're starting with an orange, which is here, and then here, and this says Christopher Robin or Pooh to next yellow, which we're playing Owl, so that doesn't count. So we need a mystery, thriller, or horror that fulfills the prompt of, let's do this one. Okay, that's easy enough. So this is Little Red Riding Hood, which is, doesn't want to focus, red cover. All right, let's see what we're getting next. Go ahead and go this one. All right, we got a yellow, which is a good move. So the yellow here, and any player to next yellow, which gets us here. And since that's a special square, we do not need to find a historical. It can be any genre, but it does need to fulfill the prompt of, see this one? Ooh, this is a good one. So this is Lilo and Stitch. Come on. And it's neurodiverse rap. Getting some big moves this time. I like it. All right. And then we're going to go here. Okay, that is a purple, which is perfect. Well, doesn't move us very far, but that is a completely free choice. All right. So now see. Okay, we get another orange, which is 1 and 2. So another mystery, thriller, or horror that fulfills the prompt of, let's do this one. Okay, so this is a bookworm, and it's manga or graphic novel. Okay, do this one. Okay, a red. So we go 1 and 2. I shouldn't have said anything about making big moves because now we're not moving as big. So this should be a romance that fulfills the prompt of, do this one. Okay, so this is Tarzan, and it's wrecked or stranded. Next, do this one. Okay, another orange. Apparently the month of orange, so none and 2. And that's rabbit to the next red. We're not playing rabbit, so it doesn't count. So another mystery, thriller, or horror that fulfills the prompt of, let's do this one. Oh, nice. So this is the Aristocats, and it's Kapit, and I have 2 of them in here, so that's perfect. All right. Do this one. Okay, sweet. Another purple, and that actually gets us all the way up here. So again, a completely free choice. Okay. Do this one. Ooh, nice, a blue. That gets us, see here, 1 and 2. That actually gets us to the North Pole. So the North Pole I consider a special square, so it can be any genre, but it does need to fulfill the prompt of, let's do this one. Oh, nice. I love this one. So it's a bookworm, and it's your birthday. So something either birthday related or related to my birthday specifically. But that's the pick. I'm going to choose my books, and I will be right back with you. All right. I am back. I have my books picked out. I wasn't able to get as much on as I wanted, so I do have a lot of extras. And I ended up putting 2 series I wanted to continue back because they're pretty low priority. But I did want to get to them sooner rather than later. We have a little baby Nidra here. She wanted to come visit, so she's in here now. Being stinky, huh? But yeah, I'm pretty happy. They're about to fall over. Goodness gracious. Pretty happy with what I got on. I am planning on doing a themed vlog at the end of June is when that video will come out. It's going to be pretty obvious, especially once I get to the extras. But if you guess what the theme vlog is, leave that emoji down in the comments below. Well, let's go ahead and get to my choices. So, of course, we rolled for a character, and we got Al. And Al is to read a memoir, biography, or any type of nonfiction. So I'm going just the general nonfiction route. And for this one, I put on The Soul of an Octopus by Montgomery. It's a surprising exploration into the wonder of consciousness. So I found this either at a thrift store or a little free library. I can't remember, but I love octopi, and I just was like, sold. And I'm excited to read this. So it says, popular naturalist Montgomery explores the emotional and physical world of the octopus, the remarkable connections it makes with people, and the vibrant community that arises around this complex, intelligent, and spirited creature. Practicing true immersion journalism from New England aquarium tanks to the reefs of French Polynesia and the Gulf of Mexico, Montgomery befriends individual octopuses with strikingly different personalities. Gentle Athena, assertive Octavia, curious Kali, and joyful Karma, who show their cleverness in myriad ways, escaping enclosures, creative trickery to get food, and jetting water to bounce balls. Montgomery also chronicles scientists' growing appreciation of the octopus's problem-solving as she tells a love story. By turns funny, entertaining, touching, and profound, the soul of an octopus reveals what octopuses can teach us about the meeting of 2 very different minds. So I'm excited to read that one. So that is the first one. Then we pulled an orange disc, which is mystery, thriller, or horror. And for this one, we got Little Red Riding Hood, which was a red cover. I've gotten this like a couple times before and never have I fulfilled it. So hopefully this is the month. I didn't do the same book I put on before. I'm clearly just not filling that one. It's One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus is the one I've used before for it. And I had a couple options, but they weren't really read. And then I remember I had found this whole series, well, not the whole series, but the first like 6 books at a thrift store. And the first one happens to work perfectly for this prompt. So I'll be reading the first book in the CHERUB series, which this is Mission 1, The Recruit by Robert Muchamore. And so it's obviously fits the red theme. It is, I believe, young adult, so that should be helpful. Somebody dog-eared a page. So this says, CHERUB agents are highly trained, extremely talented, and all under the age of 17. For official purposes, these agents do not exist. They are sent out on missions to spy on terrorists, hack into critical documents, and gather intel on global threats, all without gadgets or weapons. It is an extremely dangerous job, but these agents have one crucial advantage. Adults never suspect that teens are spying on them. James is the latest CHERUB recruit. He is a bit of a troublemaker, but he's also brilliant, and CHERUB needs him. James has no idea what to expect, but he's out of options. Before he can start in the field, he must first survive 100 grueling days of basic training, where even some of the toughest recruits don't make it to the end. So I'm really excited to give this a try. Like I said, I found the first chunk of books. I don't remember how many books are in the series. I'll try to insert it here, but I found like the first 6 at the thrift store, and I was like, they're all here. Why not give them a try? And so that was my pick for that prompt. Then we pulled a yellow disc, which normally is historical, but we did land on a special square, which means we can forego the genre. And for this one, we got Lilo and Stitch, which was neurodiverse rep, which I love that we got this because I've been seeing the ads for the live action film of it, which is so cute. And so for this one, at first I was like, oh, I don't know, like I don't know what to put on. And then I remember I participate in Autism Reads, which is a read along put on by Christine and an autistic reader. And each month we're reading a book that is by an author confirmed to be autistic, and then we read adult, young adult, and then middle grade. And June's pick is a middle grade, and the characters are autistic. It's 2 sisters, and they're both autistic. And that is The Mini Mysteries of the Finkel Family by Sarah Kapit, or Kapit. And so, yeah, this works perfect. I'm always planning on trying to squeeze it in. Autism Reads tends to be lower priority for me. I still need to read April and May's pick. But I'm hoping to do that in May, and then June we'll read the middle grade one. And this one sounds really cute. It says, when 12-year-old Laura Finkel starts at her very own detective agency, Fiasco, Finkel Investigation Agency solving consequential crimes only, she does not want her sister Caroline involved. She and Caroline don't have to do everything together, but Caroline won't give up, and when she brings Laura the firm's first mystery, Laura relents, and the mysteries start piling up. But soon a new mystery emerges, a mystery about Caroline. Caroline normally uses her tablet to talk, but now she's busily texting a new friend. Laura can't figure out what the 2 of them are up to, but it can't be good. And Caroline doesn't like Laura's snooping. She's supposed to be solving other people's mystery, not spying on Caroline. As Fiasco and the Finkel family mysteries spin out of control, can Caroline and Laura find a way to be friends again? And it sounds like you have different representations of autism, which I love. It sounds like Caroline's nonverbal and uses the tablet, so I think that's really great. And I can't wait to read this one. So I will leave, of course, Christine's channel down below. Go check out Christine's channel, and then if you're interested in joining Autism Reads, she'll have the Discord and everything down there. So Then we got a purple, which this year is a completely free pick, so I did not need to pull a Hunny Jar prompt or anything like that. And this one, I had a hard time because obviously I had a lot of books I wanted to get on this one. I decided to go with my Adventures and Aldea pick for this one. And so I went to 5B, which was Enter Cave, and it's to read, or no, what is 5? I think that might have been the last month. Hold on. I will tell you. Enter Cave was the dystopian, so that's for May. And then here we are. Yeah, so that's May was the Enter the Cave. So now for June, I'm going to 6B, which is Solve Traps, and it's to read a mystery book. And this is another one I found at like the thrift store, and it's How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kristen Perrin. This one, I'm not a big like cozy murder mystery type person. They're just not my thing, but this one did sound really interesting to me, so I'm excited to read it. You gonna come back up? Come on, sweetheart. So I am excited to read it. Hopefully it works for me. And it works for Adventures in Aldea. So it says, Frances Adams always said she'd be murdered. She was right. It's 1965, and teenage Frances Adams is at an English country fair with her two best friends. But Frances's life takes a hairpin turn when a fortune teller makes a bone-chilling prediction. One day, Frances will be murdered. Frances spends a lifetime trying to solve a crime that hasn't happened yet, compiling dirt on every person who crosses her path in an effort to prevent her own demise. For decades, no one takes Frances seriously until, that is, nearly 60 years later, when Frances is found murdered. In the present day, Annie Adams has been summoned to a meeting at the sprawling country estate of her wealthy and reclusive great aunt Frances. But by the time Annie arrives in the quaint English village of Castle Knoll, Frances is already dead. Annie is determined to catch the killer, but thanks to Frances's lifelong habit of digging up secrets, it seems every endearing and eccentric villager might just have a motive for her murder. Can Annie safely unravel the dark mystery at the heart of Castle Knoll, or will dredging up the past throw her into the path of a killer? As Annie gets closer to the truth and closer to the danger, she starts to fear she might inherit her great aunt's fate instead of her fortune. I don't know, it just sounded like the premise sounds really interesting to me. So I hope I end up enjoying this one. Then let's see here. We got another orange. It's the month of the oranges. So again, another mystery thriller horror. But this one was a bookworm and it's to read a manga or graphic novel. And so for this one, I don't read a lot, but my options are pretty limited. But I either had the Death Note, in order to fit kind of closer to the genre, I either had the Death Note manga. I can't remember. I'm either up to volume 4 or 5 on that one, or I could continue the Spy Family manga, and I decided to go with Spy Family. So I'm on volume 3. This is by Tatsuya Endo. And so I enjoyed the first two. The Death Note series, I would rather complete that one, but I just didn't enjoy the last ones I read, and so I just wasn't feeling it. And so I decided to go with the one I was feeling more, which is Spy Family, of course. And so this one, basically, you have Twilight, and he is a spy, and his mission is to get close to this guy. But he's very kind of reclusive, and so the best way to do that is through the school that his kid goes to. So he ends up adopting this little girl that he does not know is a telepath, and then in order to have the ideal family to get into the school, he ends up taking this wife, but she is an assassin. And so the little girl, of course, knows all this because she's a telepath, but they don't know what each other is, or what the little girl is, or anything like that. And it's just a lot of fun. And so I'm excited to continue on with that series. Then let's see here, we got a red, which is a romance. And for this one, we got Tarzan, and it's Wrecked and Stranded. So this is kind of a fun little combination. But I didn't really, like, I was looking to see, and I didn't really have anything. There was like a Nora Roberts book, but I've read it multiple times, and it's like a wintry book, so I didn't really want that. And this popped up, and I was like, that's perfect. I don't know why I didn't think of that. So I'm going to be continuing in the Ice Planet Barbarians. My next one is book 9, which is Barbarian's Heart by Ruby Dixon. And so the whole premise of this is these women get sex trafficked by aliens, and then that ship ends up crash landing on this ice planet. So they're stranded on this ice planet, and then we also learned that the blue aliens that are already there are also stranded as well. And so basically each book is following a different couple, and they resonate to each other, they have mates and such. And it's just a light-hearted, fun time. It has darker themes, like especially in the first one when they're with the initial aliens, the bad aliens. Like there's definitely trigger warnings for that. But then the rest of it is just a fun, lighthearted time, and the blue aliens just want to take care of their women, and it's just fun. And so I'm up to book 9, and I'm excited to continue on with this series as well. That one's more lower priority, but they're super easy to read, super easy to get through. Then we had, let's see here, another orange, so another mystery thriller horror. And we got the Aristocats, which was a cat pick. So I will insert the footage here. Okay, so I have Fradaline. Her name's Adeline, we call her Fradaline. And Sherlock. I put some treats over there to get them eating. And so we'll see who comes over here first and see what book they put. So, and I'll talk about them more in a second. There's more over here. There's more trees. Yep. There's more trees. There's more trees. Yeah, there's more trees. Oh, is Adeline gonna figure it out first? I don't know. Cats are always so difficult. Oh. She figured it out. Yay. So she picked The Mountain in the Sea by Ray Nayler. As you can see, we had both Sherlock and Adeline, who we call Fradaline. They were snuggied up on the bed over there, and so I gave them treats to get them out of the way and then placed the books. But, cats are hard. Like, if they don't see you place the treats, but it's also you don't want them to see you place the treat and go to that treat either. So it took a little minute, but they finally figured it out, and Adeline chose the book. And this was pitted, of course, against How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kristen Perrin, because I was like, it's a mystery and I need to get it on because Adventures in Aldea. And then it was pitted against also Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll, which is one of my priority reads for the year. But Adeline picked The Mountain in the Sea by Ray Nayler. And this one is like a speculative thriller type book. So it says, rumors begin to spread of a dangerous species of hyper-intelligent octopus that may have developed its own language and culture. The marine biologist Dr. Guyan, who has spent her life researching cephalopod intelligence, will do anything for the chance to study them. The transitional tech corporation Dyanima has sealed off the remote Condio archipelago, where the octopuses were discovered from the rest of the world. Dr. Guyan travels to the island to join Dyanima's team, a battle-scarred security agent and the world's first android. The octopuses hold the key to unprecedented breakthroughs in extra-human intelligence. The stakes are high. There are vast fortunes to be made by whoever can take advantage of the octopus's advancements, and as Dr. Guyan struggles to communicate with the newly discovered species, forces larger than Dyanima close in to seize the octopuses for themselves. But no one has yet asked the octopuses what they think or what they might do about it. A near-future thriller about the nature of consciousness, Ray Nayler's The Mountain in the Sea is a dazzling literary debut and a mind-blowing dive into the treasure and wreckage of humankind's legacy. So I am excited for this one. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Then let's see here. We got another purple, so another free pick. And for this one, I decided to go with one of my Genre-a-thon books. So I ended up picking a book to fulfill each prompt. So Genre-a-thon is my readathon. It's a year-long one, and each month we're focusing on a different genre or genre-adjacent prompt. I say that because sometimes I do throw age ranges in there because I know some people stick to like certain age ranges. And so for June, it's Juneteenth and Pride. And so it's to read either a book about or that has slavery or to read an LGBTQIA plus book. And so I put the LGBTQIA plus book in here because it's going to be a little bit more involved because it's a little bit longer and such. And so I went with red, white, and royal blue, especially, July 4th coming up. I figured it would be a good time to read it in June. And this is by Casey McQuiston. And this is a little bit outside my comfort zone because I don't like royalty that take place in the real world. Like I like royalty in a historical element or fantasy or whatnot, but a contemporary with royalty is not quite my thing. And so it says, what happens when America's first son falls in love with the Prince of Wales? When his mother became president of the United States, Alex Claremont Diaz was promptly cast as the American equivalent of a young royal. Handsome, charismatic genius, his image is pure millennial marketing gold for the White House. There's only one problem. Alex has a beef with an actual prince, Henry, across the pond. And when the tabloids get a hold of a photo involving an Alex Henry altercation, U.S.-British relationships take a turn for the worse. Heads of family and state and other handlers devise a plan for damage control, stage a truce between the two rivals. What at first begins as a fake Instagrammable friendship grows deeper and more dangerous than either Alex or Henry could have imagined. Soon, Alex finds himself hurtling into a secret romance with a surprisingly unstuffy Henry that could derail the presidential campaign and upend two nations. It raises the question, can love save the world after all? And where do we find the courage and the power to be the people we're meant to be? And how can we learn to let our true colors shine through? So, I'm excited. I've never tried this author. I do have one other book by them, but I haven't tried it yet. So I'm excited to give this a go. And it's around 400 pages. So, and then we actually made it to the North Pole with our next pick. So we did pull blue, but the North Pole is considered a special square. So again, any genre. And we got the bookworm. It's your birthday. So either, somebody celebrating a birthday or something to do with my own personal birthday. And so I went that route and I was trying to find something that was published in September because that's when my birthday. So I was like, that's probably the easiest. I had some books, there's a book I have that's called September by Rosamund Pilcher, I believe. But I wasn't really feeling that. I thought maybe something where an author has my name. Wasn't feeling that. And so I was just looking through. None of the books I needed to get on worked, so I went to my priority list. And one of the options I gave the cat actually was published in September, published September 19th of 2023. So I'm going to be reading Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll. I actually gave this as an option to my family book club. So far, only 3 of us have voted. So I don't know who else is going to vote if they are. But this one, it doesn't look like it's going to win because 2 other of my family have voted for a different book. But I'm excited to read this. It's on my priority list. And I'm happy. There's only 3 left of the standalone priorities. Obviously, I have my series that are ongoing. But of the standalones, there's only 3 left. So I'm happy to knock another one off. And this one sounds interesting. I love the cover. That's what caught my eye initially when people were talking about it, was the cover. But it says, January 1978, a serial killer has terrorized women across the Pacific Northwest. When the soon-to-be infamous murderer descends on the top sorority at Florida State University's campus in Tallahassee, the lives of those who survive, including sorority president and key witness Pamela Schumacher, are forever changed. Across the country, Tina Cannon is convinced her missing friend was targeted by the man papers refer to as the All-American Sex Killer, and that he struck again. Determined to find justice, the two join forces as their search for answers lead to a final shocking confrontation. And this is based on Ted Bundy, so I'm excited. I'm excited to finally get to this, and I hope I enjoy it because I have heard mixed things, but I'm excited to get to it, and I hope I do enjoy it. So that is what I got on my TBR. Pretty doable. There's only 9 books, and it's really, not that bad. So this is the official, get that the right way, mangas. So this is the official TBR for the game. So this is what I have to complete. I might, since I'm stacking up the rewards and I'm not using them as Hunny Jar to forego Hunny Jar prompts, I might use it if I don't want to read one of those or I don't get to one, to make it where it doesn't necessarily go against me. We'll just have to see. I'm foreseeing that I'm going to read all of them, but I do have a lot of extras. So we do have my series pull. So I did pull Throne of Glass, which is a 7-book series. The next one that I'll need to read is book 5, which is Empire of Storms. I don't have it yet. It should arrive any day now. So I'm hoping it will come. But Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. It is the 5th book in the series. And so basically, Throne of Glass, we have Selena, and she is an assassin. And so in the first book, she gets pulled out of a prison she's in to compete to become the king's assassin. And then it kind of takes off from there. There's, political things. There's kind of a darker evil in play as well. And I just can't wait to see where the series continues to go. I haven't read Queen of Shadows yet, but it's one of the first books I'm going to pick up. I'm reading, excuse me, Voice of the Ocean by Kelsey Apicike, which is a new release. She's a new author. I follow her for her Sims content. But that's the first book I picked up for May, and then I'm going to be reading Queen of Shadows. So I can't wait to have Empire of Storms here and read it in June. Then the next series we pulled was the Elixir series by Hilary, Duff. And I'm going to be binge reading this. Like I said, I want to binge read it. So we have Elixir, Devoted, and then True. And this one, I'll read the synopsis for the first one, but not the others in case there's any spoilers or anything. So it says, a soulmate for life or death. 17-year-old Clea Raymond has felt the glare of the spotlight her entire life. The daughter of a renowned surgeon and a prominent politician, she has become a talented photojournalist who takes refuge in a world that allows her to travel to many exotic places. But after Clea's father disappears while on a humanitarian mission, Clea begins to notice eerie, shadowy images in her photos of a strange and beautiful young man, a man she has never seen before. When fate brings Clea and this man together, she is stunned by the immediate and powerful connection she feels with him. As they grow closer, they are drawn deep into the mystery behind her father's disappearance, and they discover the centuries-old truth behind their intense bond. Torn by a dangerous love triangle and haunted by a powerful secret that holds their fates together, they race against time to unravel their past in order to save their lives and their futures. So I'm excited for this. I didn't even know she had written anything. She wrote this when she was a teenager. But I was watching, I want to say it was Kapowski Reads. I'll link the channel down below. I believe it was them. I could be mistaken. But just say you can't take it too seriously. It's just kind of a fun time. And as long as you don't take it too seriously, it is a fun read. But regardless, I wanted to try it for myself. So I'm not expecting, like, I'm not going in with high expectations, but I'm hoping it's just a fun, good time. So there's that. Then we had my other genre-a-thon pick, and for this one, obviously I'm going the slavery route, and I'm going to be reading a Dear America book. So I Thought My Soul Would Rise and Fly, The Diary of Patsy, a Freed Girl, Mars Bluff, South Carolina, 1865. And so I'm excited. It sounds like she teaches the other kids and such. And this is by Joyce Hansen. And yeah, I love these Dear America books. I really enjoyed them as a kid, and I've been collecting them. And it says in a historical note, in December 1865, 8 months after the Civil War ended, Congress ratified the 13th Amendment, abolishing slavery in the United States. However, this did not mean that the approximately 4 million formerly enslaved men, women, and children were accepted as American citizens with equal rights under the law. They were no longer enslaved, but slavery's chains were hard to break. So I'm looking forward to this. Like I said, I love the Dear America books. Then we have 2 extras that I was just not able to get on that I do want to read. And so we have Weird is Beautiful, The Wisdom of Octopuses. And this is by Liv Marvin. But it's kind of funny because it says Liv Marvin asserts the moral right to be identified as the author of this work, but her name otherwise isn't anywhere. It's there, and then at the acknowledgements. So, but this is a cute. I got it from Pango, and it's like just a cute little book with little snippets, and there's like an octopus quiz, which is it just seems like fun. Yeah, quiz. How octopus are you? And so it's gonna be a fun little one. And then the other one I'm going to be reading is Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. This one, when I found it, I was thrilled. I've wanted to read this for so long. And I saw it at a thrift store. And I was like, I couldn't believe. I think it was here in my little smaller town, not even in the bigger city. And those, the small town thrift stores, sometimes they have good things, but not always. And so I was very pleasantly surprised and snagged it right up, because I have wanted to read this for a long time. I think I'm going to love this one. It says, a charming, witty, and compulsively readable exploration of friendship, reckoning, and hope that traces a widow's unlikely connection with a giant Pacific octopus. After Tova Sullivan's husband died, she began working the night shift at the Solwell Bay Aquarium, mopping floors and tidying up. Keeping busy has always helped her cope, which she's been doing since her 18-year-old son, Eric, mysteriously vanished on a boat in Puget Sound over 30 years ago. Tova becomes acquainted with a curmudgeonly Marcellus, a giant Pacific octopus living at the aquarium. Marcellus knows more than anyone can imagine, but wouldn't dream of lifting one of his 8 arms for his human captors. Telly forms a remarkable friendship with Tova. Ever the detective, Marcellus deduces what happened the night Tova's son disappeared. And now Marcellus must use every trick in his old invertebrate body can muster to unearth the truth for her before it's too late. Shelby Van Pelt's debut novel is a gentle reminder that sometimes taking a hard look at the past can help uncover a future that once felt impossible. So, I can't wait. Sounds like it's right up my alley. I'm going to love it. And then lastly, we have my family book club pick, if that's the one they go with. Like I said, there's only 3 of us that have voted so far, and 2 of them voted for this book, so I'm thinking it's probably going to win. And that's Stillhouse Lake by Rachel Kane. In this one, you have a mother to 2 children, and after a car accident, she ends up learning her husband is actually a serial killer. Excuse me. So anyway, so she discovers that he goes to prison, and people are kind of targeting her and harassing her. So she ends up changing her name and going to Stillhouse Lake with her children to try to live, a somewhat normal life, away from people who are targeting her. But then a body appears. and so that stirs up a bunch of stuff. So yeah, I think that's the one that's gonna win, so that will also be on my TBR as well. I would love to know if you've read any of these books, if you're interested in reading any of these books. Let me know down in the comments below. If you just want to let me know you were here and that you're helping to support the channel by commenting, you can leave a rabbit or any type of animal emoji, maybe a certain kind of animal that is going to be a theme for June. But I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys here. Happy reading, everyone. Bye.